Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe review. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the episode Buddy's Book. But before we get started here, I do want to say something that this episode, much like most episodes in the show, did leak. And just remember, if you are going to watch the leak, like I did, make sure you watch the original airing of the episode to show your support to the Crooniverse. I just wanted to remind you guys of that. I haven't said it in a while. But just remember, support the original creation. But with that being said, I like this one. This one's very interesting, and I like the concept behind it. So it starts off, Steven and Connie are going to the library. They want to go, Connie wants to go to the library to get caught up on her summer reading, which, it's caught up, get ahead, because they're in 7th grade. I always forget they're so young. So they're in the library. Of course, you can't yell in the library. I noticed the person at the head of the library, the librarian, was reading that Zaxor book that we always see all the time. You know, the one I'm talking about. So, right, Steven he gets on one of those little stools and goes wandering around, and he finds a book underneath the shelves of the library. The book, they open it up, and it seems to have a bunch of gym locations in it. And we find out it's the journal of Buddy Budwick, who was the first mate from Remember Friendship? And now they open up this book and they start reading it, and I'm like, hey, it's the person who voices Jamie. I couldn't tell you the name. It's like, oh, that's a really cool thing. And then they keep reading it a little more, and I'm like, it turns like real life, and I was like, oh, I like where this is going. They actually have Jamie in the role of Buddy Budwick. I like this setup. I really do. So Jamie wants to go out and find something for himself. So he heads off to what I'm assuming is Norway. I think it's Norway. And he arrives at the strawberry fields. So we now know the strawberry fields are Norway. That's a pretty concrete location, which we don't really get many other concrete locations. Because, there are some we can assume. Like, I can assume the Beta Kindergarten's in, Arizona. But other than that, there's nothing solid. So, right, he's in Norway in the strawberry fields. And Garnet and Pearl show up. And I love their old-timey dress. I really do. That was really funny. Because we've seen them dress sort of old-timey before in that one picture. You know, where they're fighting off the shark. So, Garnet and Pearl give Buddy a list of all gym locations. And basically tell him to avoid it. But when you tell somebody not to do something, they instantly go and do something. Also, I like how they just ride away on a penny farthing bicycle. That was funny. That was really funny. So Buddy starts going around exploring all different locations, and he comes across, they're looking through, he's named them all, and he comes across one called the Palaquin? I don't know how to pronounce it. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is that? I have no idea what that is. And then, they say, oh, he named them all. So the Palaquin has to be something real. So I looked up Palaquin on Google, and it's one of those things that you see where a king sits in, where he has a person on each side, 2 people, and he hoists them around town, right? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. And then I'm looking at, that's Blue Diamonds. Remember in the episode The Answer, we see Blue Diamond sitting in that thing when Sapphire walks up to her? That's a Palaquin. That's Blue Diamond's Palaquin. That's really cool. That, I didn't notice that at first. I had to do a little research, but I think that is really cool. So he keeps adventuring, right? And he eventually comes to the kindergarten. And at the kindergarten, he meets Amethyst. I love Amethyst's general outfit. That was really cool. And Amethyst tells him, don't stay here. You need to go somewhere else. There's a mysterious sandcastle in the desert. You should head there. So he heads to the desert, almost dies, but then is found by Rose and her 7 lions. So has Rose always controlled lions? Because there are 7 of them, but we know they're normal lions. They're not like pink lions lions. So what's her deal? So how do these lions relate to the normal lion? And she points out the sandcastle out in the distance. And I'm assuming this is the sandcastle caused by the desert glass? But why are they pointing this out now if we know why is Rose at it now when we know the crystal gems don't go to it for another few hundred years? Why is she here now of all times? Was she planting a lion there? There's a few questions that can be asked. But basically Rose tells Buddy that, hey, you like books, right? You've detailed all these places. Maybe you should become an author. And so he does. he becomes an author and he writes a library's worth of books. And at the end, we get to see what Buddy Budwick really looked like. He looks nothing like Jamie, but they like their version better. It was just a nice episode. It is nice to see, after all the shit that happened with Rose last week, how we've now learned she's done some evil things. It's nice to see Rose in a little bit more of a positive light, even if it's just there at the end. But yeah, overall, I really liked this one, and I hope you all enjoyed, and until next week, peace.